I paid off my parents' entire $680,000 mortgage, only to find out my father used my sacrifice to build a new life with another woman, one who wasn't even pregnant. That day, I didn't just lose my family, I uncovered a betrayal so deep, it demanded revenge. Olyssa Trent was the kind of woman people described as the strong one, the one who could keep a collapsing building standing just by willing it not to fall. An architect by profession, she was trained to see what others overlooked: weak beams, hidden cracks, crooked foundations. She saw danger before it struck. She saw problems before they formed. Except, somehow, she had missed all the cracks in her own home. She believed, naively, wholeheartedly, that family was the one structure that didn't need constant inspection. The family didn't need rebuilding. The family didn't collapse. But she was wrong. She just didn't know it yet. For 2 years, Olyssa had worked herself to the brink of exhaustion. While her friends traveled or celebrated promotions, she lived in a cycle of drafting, building, revising, surviving. She worked by day at a design firm and by night as a contract-based visual planner. She chased bonus projects, extra site visits, and high-stress, low-reward architectural consultations that no one else wanted. She did it all with one goal in mind: to pay off her parents' crushing $680,000 mortgage. She remembered the night the idea first planted itself in her head. Her mother had been crying in the kitchen, hands wrapped around a mug of cold tea. Her father was pacing the hall, cursing under his breath about banks and deadlines. Their home, her childhood sanctuary, was slipping away from them, and she couldn't bear to watch them fall apart. So she stepped in. So she worked herself raw. So she took everything heavy and made it hers. She believed that once the mortgage was gone, everything would heal, that they would be happy, that they would be relieved, that they would be proud of her. She didn't know she was walking into the beginning of her own unraveling. When Olyssa entered her parents' home with the payoff documents, she felt a rare, bright pride bloom in her chest. Her legs trembled, but her heart soared. She imagined her mother hugging her, crying with joy. She imagined her father smiling the way he used to when she was little, calling her his smart girl. Instead, the living room felt cold. Not cold from temperature, but from something deeper, like a secret hanging in the air, something heavy and sharp enough to slice the room in half. Her mother sat with perfect posture on the couch, hands clasped. Her father was standing near the window, blinds half open, dust streaking through the sunlight like fractured beams. They looked prepared. Prepared for what? She didn't know. "Mom, Dad," she said, smiling as she placed the stack of documents on the coffee table. "It's done." Her mother leaned forward, lips parting in surprise. Her father's brows knitted, as if he had been expecting something else entirely. "What's done?" he asked. "The mortgage," she breathed, heart pounding with excitement. "I paid it off." The silence that followed wasn't disbelief. It wasn't joy. It wasn't a relief. It was dreadful. Her mother's eyes instantly filled with tears, the kind that didn't fall, the kind that clung and burned. Her father looked like someone had just read him a verdict he already knew was coming. "Olyssa," her mother whispered. But her father stepped toward the table, picked up the documents, and flipped through them with a stern, almost angry expression. "You paid it off entirely?" he asked slowly. "I did," she said. "It's finally yours. No more debt. No more." "Why would you do that?" The question hit her like a slap. She blinked. "Because you were struggling. Because I wanted to help. Because you're my parents." Her mother closed her eyes. Her father looked away. And that's when Olyssa felt it, a strange sinking sensation, like a floorboard shifting beneath her feet. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Her father put the papers down with a heavy thud. "Olyssa," he began, his tone unnervingly calm, "I know you paid off the $680,000 mortgage, but we're not keeping the house." The room froze. Olyssa felt the air vanish from her lungs. "What?" she whispered. "What do you mean you're not keeping it?" Her father didn't soften. Not even a flicker. "We've already accepted an offer. The house is being sold." "But..."
"Why?"
"Now that it's paid off, you can stay. You can rebuild. You can. It's not up for debate, he said coldly. The decision is made. Her mother looked like she was seconds away from breaking, but she didn't speak. Her father did. There's something you don't know. The words chilled her. What don't I know? She asked, her voice cracking. Her father inhaled sharply, as if gathering strength, as if preparing to detonate a bomb. The money you paid didn't exactly save us, he said. Months ago, I took out another loan on the house. Her stomach twisted. What loan? For what? He hesitated. Too long. Then, for someone who needed me.
Someone.
Not something.
Someone.
Who is she? Olyssa demanded. Her father's jaw clenched. Her name is Selena. Her mother's shoulders tensed, a tremor running through her. Selena is his mistress, her mother finally whispered, voice shattering like thin glass. The floor seemed to tilt under Olyssa's feet. Her father didn't refute it, didn't deny it, didn't apologize. He simply stood there, unapologetically, as though this betrayal was a minor mistake, like forgetting a grocery item. Olyssa, he said calmly, Selena is pregnant. With my child. And she needs support. The words stabbed through her chest. Her vision blurred. She felt something inside her collapse, silently, painfully. You took out a loan for her? She whispered. He nodded. And now that the house is paid off, selling it will give us the money to take care of her. Start a new chapter.
Us.
A new chapter. With her father. And the woman carrying his child. And Mom? Olyssa asked, horrified. What happened to her? Her father didn't look at his wife. Not once. Your mother and I have grown apart. We've agreed to part ways. Her mother's breath caught. Quiet, broken, devastated. Agreed?
No.
She was surrendering. She was drowning. She was staying silent to avoid being destroyed further. What about me? Olyssa whispered. What about the sacrifice I made? The years I lost? The money I earned? The future I planned for all of us? Her father exhaled. Your money was a gift. And gifts don't come with conditions. Olyssa froze. What do you mean? He slid another envelope toward her. Open it. Her hands trembled as she pulled out the papers. Legal transfer. Her forged signature. Her funds are labeled as a voluntary, unconditional gift. Her rights were erased. Her sacrifice turned into a weapon against her. You forged my name, she said, voice barely audible. I did what needed to be done, he said. You betrayed me. Don't be dramatic. You ruined everything.
He sighed.
Love makes you do unreasonable things. She stared at him. This wasn't just betrayal. This was premeditated. Calculated.
Cold.
Her mother sobbed quietly into trembling hands. Her father stood proudly like a man who believed he had done the right thing. And in that moment, as the truth pierced her, Olyssa felt something ignite inside her. Not grief. Not fear. Not a weakness. Fire. Cold, clear, calculated fire. If they wanted to break her, they should have tried harder. Because of that fire, it didn't burn out. It burned everything in its way. Olyssa Trent didn't remember leaving her parents' house. She didn't remember the walk, the drive, the street she crossed, or the people she passed. All she remembered was the feeling, a hollow, burning ache inside her chest. The kind of ache that makes a good person dangerous. The kind of ache that built empires or tore them down. By the time she reached her apartment, the sun had already set. A bitter wind howled against the windows. Olyssa stood in the center of her living room, motionless, breathless, before collapsing onto the couch. For the first time in years, she didn't try to be strong. She cried like someone whose world had been cut open. Her father hadn't just broken her trust. He had taken her sacrifice, twisted it, and used it to build a future with the woman who destroyed their family. Selena. The woman carrying his child. The woman he'd risked everything for. The woman he'd stolen from his own daughter for. But as the hours crawled by, something inside Olyssa shifted.
Her tears dried.
Her breathing steadied. The fire returned. A fire sharper and more controlled than before, a fire with purpose. Her father believed she would walk away silently. He was wrong. 2 days later, Olyssa walked into the downtown planning office to submit her latest architectural proposal. She needed the distraction. She needed to bury her mind in blueprints, calculations, steel, structure, things that didn't lie or betray. That's when she met Liam Arden.
Tall.
Confidence. Sharp hazel eyes that looked like they saw everything. A man with a voice low enough to steady her heartbeat, and a gaze intense enough to unsettle it again. He stood at the reception desk, arguing, politely but firmly, with the clerk. "I understand the deadline," he said, "but the city inspector misplaced the previous file. I need the approval to break ground this week. This isn't a hobby project. This is." His eyes flicked toward Olyssa. Just for a second. Something in his expression changed. He stopped talking. Their eyes held for a single, quiet beat, as if he sensed the storm she carried. "Let me call my supervisor," the clerk said suddenly, flustered. Liam stepped aside. Olyssa approached the counter. But she felt his gaze on her again. "Rough week?" he asked softly. She swallowed. "Something like that." He didn't pry, didn't push, didn't force a conversation. He just nodded and said, "If you ever need a blueprint for a fresh start, I'm quite good at foundations." She almost smiled. Almost. That brief exchange should have ended there. But fate had other plans. Because when she submitted her papers, the clerk said, "Oh, Mr. Arden, she'll be reviewing your land use proposal." Olyssa blinked. Liam blinked back. "We're working together?" she asked. "Looks like it," he replied. The universe had thrown a stranger into her life. At the exact moment, everything fell apart. But Liam Arden wasn't just any stranger. Over the next few days, Olyssa discovered 3 things. Liam was a brilliant civil engineer. Liam was patient enough to understand silence. Liam was carrying secrets too. Every time she tried to keep distance, something pulled them closer. And slowly, painfully, beautifully, Liam became the first person she could breathe around. It started with a simple comment. They were reviewing soil reports late one evening when Liam said, "I had a friend named Selena once. Messy woman. Used people. Wrecked a family I knew." Olyssa froze. Her pen slipped from her fingers. Liam looked at her, eyes narrowing. "I hit a nerve, didn't I?" She tried to speak, but no words came out. He leaned back, analyzing her expression like a blueprint. "You're Selena, she hurt you," he said quietly. Olyssa felt something inside her snap. She told him everything. Not dramatically. Not emotionally. Just truth. Cold, sharp truth. About the mortgage. About her father. About the pregnancy. About the forged documents. About the betrayal that cut her open. Liam listened silently, jaw tightening, fists clenching. When she finished, he said, "I know her." Olyssa's stomach dropped. Know her how? Liam exhaled long and slow. "She tried to ruin my brother's marriage 2 years ago. Manipulated him.
Lied.
Stole money. Almost destroyed his life." Olyssa's pulse quickened. "Selena," she whispered. "The same," he said. "She disappears when she's exposed. Reappears when she finds a new victim." Olyssa's breath trembled. Her father wasn't Selena's first target, but he would be her last. Olyssa didn't want revenge fueled by rage. She wanted revenge built with precision, the kind that left nothing standing. Liam helped her design it. Not through violence. Not through destruction. But the truth. Because Selena's entire power came from secrets. So Olyssa would take that away. Brick by brick. Layer by layer. Lie by lie. Here's what they uncovered. Heavy checkmark: Selena used her pregnancy stories multiple times. None of them were real. Heavy checkmark: she targeted wealthy or vulnerable men. Heavy checkmark: she had a record in 3 states under different names. Heavy checkmark: she took loans, gifts, property, then disappeared. Heavy checkmark: she already drained over $80,000 from Olyssa's father. Asterisk, asterisk. But the most explosive discovery came from Liam's brother. Selena wasn't pregnant. Not even close. She was using a falsified medical record, one she had created herself using a contact who forged documents for a fee. The so-called child was leveraged. A weapon. But Olyssa was no longer the prey. She was the hunter. Olyssa asked her father to meet her and her mother for dinner. He arrived confidently, expecting a fight, or perhaps an apology. Selena came too, wearing a smug grin and placing a hand on her stomach. Liam waited at a nearby table, observing discreetly. Olyssa didn't yell,
Didn't cry.
didn't plead. She placed a folder on the table and opened it. Inside were Selena's forged medical reports, her financial scams, witness statements, a notarized confession from her previous victim, evidence of the loan fraud, a background check revealing her real name. Selena's face was drained of color. Her father's lips parted. What is this?" he stuttered. "Your future," Olyssa said coldly. "The one you risked everything for." Selena lunged for the papers, but Liam stepped in and blocked her. Olyssa didn't flinch. "You never loved her," she said to her father. "You loved the fantasy she built around you." "He's lying,"
Selena snapped.
"She's jealous, jealous." Olyssa cut her off. "Of you." She stood leaning forward. "You targeted the wrong family." Selena's mask cracked. Her father stared at the documents, shaking, sweating, collapsing internally. This can't be real," he whispered. "It is," Olyssa said. "And if Mom files for separation today, she can walk away with everything you tried to give Selena." Selena's eyes widened with fear. Olyssa turned to her mother. "Mom, it's your choice." Her mother lifted her chin, the strongest Olyssa had ever seen her. "I choose myself," her mother said. Selena panicked. Her father choked on guilt. Liam stepped beside Olyssa, and Olyssa felt a calm she hadn't felt in years. Selena bolted, running out of the restaurant, knowing her scam was over. Her father tried to stand, tried to speak, tried to reach her, but Olyssa looked him dead in the eyes and said, "Consider this your final repayment. I forgive the debt. I don't forgive you." And she walked away. Over the next months, her mother divorced her father. Selena disappeared, reported for financial fraud. The house was saved and placed in her mother's name. Olyssa reclaimed her life. And Liam? He became her foundation. Not by force, not fast, not out of need, but out of something real. Something built the way Olyssa built everything. With intention, with care, with strength. One evening, standing on a balcony overlooking the city lights, Liam said, "You know, the best structures aren't the ones that never crack. They're the ones rebuilt stronger than before." Olyssa smiled. "Then I guess I'm rebuilding." He brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. "Not alone." And for the first time in a long time, Olyssa believed it. The betrayal didn't break her. It built the woman who would never be broken again.